Good evening and welcome to Think About It Using Common Sense. Today is Saturday. I normally come on during the week when I do come on, even though I'm not on a regular schedule. But uh, sometimes things that's happening compel me to come on and just talk about things using common sense. And excuse me, I woke up this morning and I heard on the news that there was a shooting in my neighborhood, a few blocks away, and young man was killed. Was 21 years old, I think, and it seemed as though killing is not going away. Killing and violence, excuse me, has been incorporated into a way of life in this country and around the world. But from what I'm hearing, I think they say it's more violence, more guns in America than any other country in the world. And from what I'm saying, not only just by the people in the neighborhood, but even by the officers that's their job is policing, you know, violence, the human, the life of humans, especially people of color, seem to have less value, if any at all. And we have to get to the bottom of it. And the bottom of it, and the title of this podcast, I'm continuing on the subject of the seeds. And seeds are the individuals, the children that are being born. And they've been being born into a world of well, I guess in reality, it depends on the mother and father and the environment in which the children are born in. Then that's determined by the people that's in charge, people that's in charge, that the knowledge and understanding of values in life. They're the ones that have laid out the foundation for those people. And this is what's happening. This is what we're seeing today. These are not educated people that we see out here in the street killing one another, but they are educated people that we see that's uh, doing massive uh, amount of fraud and robberies and killing of lives and different people in different countries. So it's levels. It's levels of what's being happening or what's happening today in the world. And these children, people that's born, especially low income and poverty stricken, their environment, they see no, and they haven't been taught. They haven't been taught that there's a better life. They haven't been taught the value of education. They haven't been taught the value of love. They haven't been taught the value of money. And they haven't been taught the proper way of getting ahead in life. What's been put before them is the fact that, uh, if you don't have it, if you're in poverty, uh, you're in a neighborhood or environment that's been saturated with drugs, and you watch on television, and people can say what they want to say about television, but television does have an effect on what these people do, these young people do, and how they live their lives. Because guess what? What you see is what you do, based on the knowledge that you have, based on the upbringing that you have. And it's time for us to stop turning a blind eye to the reality of what's the cause of a lot of this stuff in pursuit of the dollar. And as we stop and take a look at these things, when you see people being deprived of proper education, and you see when they are put in environments where you see gun violence, you see drugs. This is what they live for. This is what they think is a joke. This is what they think is mediocre until they kill someone, till they go ahead and get in trouble and wind up behind bars. Even though you may appear to be tough, this is a reality when them jail cells, the doors slap close on you and lock. And you look around you and say, this is where I'm gonna have to be for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. You get yourself and get out here in trouble and start doing things, and you wind up getting yourself killed. Now your parents suffer, your family suffer. All those who are close to you, your loved ones, those who love you, they all suffer. This does not have to be. And nobody's going to sit here and tell me this has to be. This had to be. No, this is because of the groundwork. This is the groundwork that has been laid. This is the groundwork that has not been debugged of all the drugs and the lack of education, the lack of the value of family. This is the end results of this. So people need to stop talking about guns and guns and guns and more police for this and more police for that. That's not the answer. What we're seeing now is what was not done properly to prevent something like this. And this is what's happening. And we even see that even with the police officers that had that. Well, this was just an incident recently that beat this black boy to death, black on black crime. They did not have any feeling for human life. They didn't have any feeling for human life to beat this black boy like there's a person of color. And I guarantee you, and I'm not just saying this, anyone use some common sense, you would never see 5 black men beating a white boy like that, a white man like that. I've never seen that, never even heard, never. None of the killings that happens to people of color happens to white people. It's a reality. Why? Something is wrong. There's a mental problem there. Because all life is valuable. Everything on the face of this earth is valuable due to the what it has to do with sustaining life itself. We need to cut this out. You worry about politics. We talk about politics. But look who you have in office. Look what just happened. Insurrection on this country. We got people that have turned their back. The GOP have turned their back on our judicial process, our election, the way that the election is carried on in this country. They turned their back on the very election that got them elected. And they said Joe Biden was not the president of the United States. And yet these same people are in office. How is that possible? Use some common sense. How is that possible? And you worry about why America is like it is. This is the reason why. It's common sense. And that people seem to be lacking. Not seem to be, they are. Because if they did have common sense, and if they supported what they are supporting, then you got to be stupid. or you have another agenda. And in this way, you're being a hypocrite. The only way this country is going to get on track, we have to get on track. Because we and the things that happen around us is a product of our doing, of our thoughts and our ideas. How in the world are you going to sit up here and tell me you are against our Constitution, against our rules of laws, and be sworn in and continue to draw a paycheck? I don't understand that. If you have differences between the Democrats and the Republicans, you're supposed to be grown enough to sit down and talk these things out. They're not talking about anything. All they talking about, I'm gonna get rid of this person. I'm gonna get rid of this person. You don't like me, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take this. Come on, man. Are you in office? Were you elected into office for your own personal reasons? Which this is what it seems to be. If you had any sense, you don't try and clean up anything. There should be a term limit on these congressmen, senators, and stuff. Term limit. But it's the people's fault now. You know who these people are. Someone like George Santos, who the politicians, the government have proved evidence that this man is a con man, lied his way into politics, in the office. And guess what? The Republicans swore him in. He took an oath on January 2nd, sworn into office. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Who does he represent? What does he represent? And then you sit there and you talk about, these people talk about taking Social Security. How long have they been talking about that? They talk about that all the time. Social Security, debt limit, this, and that. They need to stop this mess. They need to forget about it. Social Security is untouchable. Medicare, Medicaid, untouchable. Do something to help these kids with their education. Biden come out to try and do something. Republicans won't. No, they don't get it. Why not? Why not help them? Give them a leg up. But the American people don't do anything about it. I don't understand it. This message gives me a headache because of the stupidity and the blindness of the American people to see this. They have to take over anything, but there should be transparency. So these people that is elected into office to do a job should be held accountable. And this is another thing. There's no accountability for these people. You'll lock a poor man up for stealing $100. A rich man, a politician, can steal billions. And he'll get a slap on the wrist and may get a year in a federal prison. There's no accountability. So why shouldn't they swindle and rob and embezzle? Why shouldn't they? There's no accountability for it. They don't do anything. But if you want to deter crime among these politicians and the people in these high places, then do unto them what you do unto us. You'll stop it. If you wanted to stop it, you will stop it. And this country have gotten out of this. The government has really gotten out of control. It's lost all its credibility. I'm not sitting up here talking against America. I'm here telling you the truth. It has no credibility. And I thought Justice Roberts, I thought he was, he was the top man. I said, well, this man has some credibility at one time, but that's been questionable for some time now. But then I heard the other day that there was something else about it. It was an oversight on his part. So now the Supreme Court supposed to be the court of courts, the top of justice, they no longer have credibility. I don't understand. You know, when Trump got elected, when he ran, I said, you know what? I said, now maybe things would get going, even though I totally understood, or I do understand, uh, the justice system and how things work and who's really in control. But I thought Trump, I said, you know what? Trump is a businessman, so he knows. He even came out from the beginning and he said some things that people couldn't understand. I understood it because he was telling it like it is from a businessman's point of view, a person that has money. He was talking like it is. People could understand this, and right away they jumped on it. But the thing about it is, he didn't know anything about politics. And this is where I blame the GOP. Because instead of them helping him, reeling him in when he started getting out of control or going rogue, they just let him do whatever he wanted to do, whatever he could get away with. You see. And not only that, he was so smart. Trump is a genius. He was so a genius about what he does. Uh, and being a businessman like this, he knows people. That's part of his job. Know people. He used that power. He know how to use that. He's been using that all his life. You see. But he didn't have any control. Then he got to doing things that he just shouldn't have been doing. Just totally uh out of orbit or out there in space or in some type of orbit or somewhere, but it wasn't according to how things the government is ran. I think he had more people indicted and going into quitting and resigning than any president, I think. But people let him do it. The man was the man was impeached twice for things that any other person probably would have wound up in jail for. And the reason why he lost the election because he himself lost the election. And he knew what the people was worried about. And he played on that. You understand? People came to him like bees on honey. That's not the way. Not the way. And by him losing the election, showed people. It should have shown people that that's not the way. Because he lost the election. Legally and fairly, he lost it. But because he had so many supporters, the other Republicans figured they might lose their seat if they didn't support him. And that's what happens to uh, Liz Cheney and another Republican. They lost their seats because they stood up for the truth and didn't support Trump. They got voted out, which should tell you something. Anytime a person stand up for truth and you lose your seat, that's going down the hill, whether you realize it or not. And then you see what happened in January 6th. And people are talking about everything accept what they're supposed to be talking about. And that's how can we make things better. And making things better with the gun is not the way. Making things better with 1% owning all the money is not the way. Making things better with racism, one person, one nationality, one race, think they're better than another. It's not the way. It's not the way. Taking advantage of people. It's not the way. And all these things that this society, these people in this country have been planted in. Our seeds have been planted in this type of soil. And this is the reason why things are happening in the world or in this planet, in this country, like they are happening. It's not by accident. It's not by accident. If you take me or take any person, any baby, regardless of the color, and raise them in France, they'll speak French. So what? One person has a different color means you smarter than that person? You have more intelligence than that person? No, that's not the case. The only reason you may have more intelligence is because you have been subjected to more knowledge than that person. Excuse me. So that means you're not playing fair. You're not playing fair and you haven't played fair. But yet you're willing to look down on a person because that person is living a certain way. But yet that's the only way that that person has knowledge of. And that's because that's the only knowledge that that person has, uh, knowledge has been put before that person or those persons. Time to stop that. Time to stop it. Because at the end of the day, we all are a manifestation of how we're being taught, how we use our mind, about our ideas, our thoughts, our environment. Clean it up. Clean it up. I don't understand. We can go do everything for everybody else. And we don't know, I take that back. We don't do everything for everybody. We do things for select groups. We do things for select groups and for people that also we benefit them, but they also can benefit us as a country. But this can be cleaned up overnight, but not now. It's going to take time because this wasn't, it just didn't start happening overnight. This was over a period of time. It's just like the planet. We have polluted the planet, years and years and years of pollution. So just because you all of a sudden you want to start recycling, planet planet's not going to get back to normal overnight. You can't come back and refreeze the poles that's melting, that's causing the sea level to rise, and all other whatever the effects of it, gas is being released or whatever. You may never can go back and do that. You see, because otherwise, why would you be trying to spend or develop an outer space, live in a can, or to develop a lifeless planet when you have this is the only planet that's here for us? Unless you see that we have gotten this planet has gotten a point of no return. Now you have put a time limit, put a time limit on the life of the planet, or the time that the life will no longer be able to sustain life as we know it on this planet. But yet we're too busy running around doing crazy things to realize you look in the supermarkets, the shelves are empty. You know, they were selling a 24 pack of spring water, $6.99. Last year it was $1.99. You know what I'm saying? Last year it was $1.99. Yesterday I saw it for $6.99. Did your pay increase from $100, what, 500, whatever? No, it did not. I was in I was in where was that? IKEA. I was driving up in IKEA's parking lot, and there was a robot patrolling the lot for security. You hear what I said? There's a robot patrolling the parking lot for security reasons, purposes. Yes, robot. You know, you go inside the store, 65%, 70% self checkout. It's just two little things. People, you're being replaced. You're being replaced. Technology is replacing you. The jobs that you was doing, they have robots to do that. AI, artificial intelligence, is replacing humans because the people in charge, all they want is money. But I don't understand that. It's hard for me to understand because the money is theirs anyway. I don't understand it. It's just a, we all is just a means to a dollar of keeping money in circulation to keep the system running. That's all. And I guess to keep the system running and to maintain the system, you have to have people on all levels to do all types of jobs. And I get that. I get that. And we can do that. But you don't have to do it with killing, even though with violence, even though I did read a couple of weeks ago that crime accounts for $3.5 trillion a year. It's a lot of money in the budget. You see, and that's why sometimes I feel as though, you know, we have put ourselves in a ring of fire, the fact that we may want to do some of these things. But you just can't do these things right away because our economy depends on these things. It depends on bad health, crime, um, people being stressed out, uh, people being on drugs, people smoking, you know, people being alcoholics. All that stuff is money. It's money. But I think we can do it in a way that moderation, that, you know, figure other ways to make money. But the system, I mean, I'm telling you, when I look at this system and look how things are and how we're living the system that we have for drinking water and sewage and trash to keep the city clean. And I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. But we cannot use this and make money off the back of innocent people. That's the problem I have. I have a problem with somebody making millions and billions of dollars from people, and yet they're not giving anything back. The little bit that they do give back is not even worth talking about. You don't go back and help those in the ghetto, or to help those that's in need. I watched a commercial on television, you know, and it had these kids that uh, in the hospitals with different types of ailments and bodily uh, dysfunctions, and they was asking people for donations. As rich as this country is, and people can give donations is fine, but as rich as this country is, why is that? Why can't they have the best? Why can't those kids have the best? Why can't they? As rich as this country is, I was talking to two veterans today, and we was in the military at the same time, between 68 and 70. And one was telling me how they had shrapnel in his leg, and another was telling me how this had happened to him in Vietnam, and how when we came out from Vietnam, that people really didn't even give us any respect. But yet, we went into the military regardless to make the ultimate sacrifice. And so many did, thousands did, thousands and thousands of families. We got no respect. We have to stand out here and fight for veteran rights, fight for extra money for veterans to get taken care of, while other people was back here making money, enjoying life, and the veterans get nothing. Not right, man. But yet it happened, and it's still happening. Nobody cares. If you did care, it would be happening. So don't sit up here and be telling about, oh yeah, well we care, but no, you don't. If you did, you'd do something about it. I don't buy the BS that every election come around, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, do this, do that. Same stuff all the time. And they've been talking about it for years, and we're still in the problem. We're in worse shape right now than we've ever been. The deficit is more today than it's ever been. And I don't even understand the deficit when it's not based on anything. We're not on a gold standard. But that's neither here nor there. The thing that I'm talking about is saving humanity, saving America, saving the country. Try and help and build and make this a better world for everyone. It's enough wealth to do that. This is what I don't understand. It's enough wealth to do that. And all the wealth that's being spent is going right back into the pot. Except that's being, taken out of space somewhere. Now the money's going right back in the pot. People have so much money they never spend it. Never. Never. And things are being developed today technologically is not for the low income middle class, because you know what? We cannot afford it. We will not be able to afford it in the future unless something changes. And one other thing, I have to talk about this too. Um, I have to talk about opinions. I have to talk about opinions, and I have to talk about people getting into people's business where there's no concern. How does someone feel like they have the audacity to get into someone's business that's none of their business? Where's that come from? Where does someone have the right to be so opinionated about something when your opinions are baseless? I don't understand. And this is a problem. This is a major, major problem. If someone asks you something, asks you for your opinion, by all means give it. But if someone don't ask you your opinion, what right do you have to give an opinion about something that you don't know anything about or nothing that concerns you? You understand? When it comes to politics, people have opinions about that because you know what? The decisions that they're making can affect our lives, your life, my life. Okay. But you watch, you get information, you read, you know what you're talking about. But to just to open your mouth about something that you have no business knowing, I mean, not so much knowing, but that you don't know about and you talking about, I think you should keep your mouth shut. Everybody. If nobody is if it doesn't affect you in any way, then what are you opinionated about? And when you have an opinion, what is your opinion based on? And the simple rule for that is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And the thing about it is, people, there comes a time when it's time to start being real. It's time to start living what you believe, regardless of what it is, be what you believe. If a person come down with their hair in Star Spangled Banner or whatever they want to put, it's their business. It's their business. It's no business of yours unless it's something. If you having a a party or something, you having a private party or something, and someone crash your party looking like that, then okay. Oh, excuse me. God, I missed something. Then you have a right to complain about that. But we're too opinionated. You know, you say people have this such thing as you say there's a such thing as freedom of speech, but it's freedom of speech as long as people are saying what you want to hear. You understand? What's the saying that sticks and stones can break your bones, but names will never hurt you? Say what you want to say. You call me anything you want to call me. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't hurt me. I know who I am. You see, and that's what counts. But if you want to come and do something that's going to interfere with me or my livelihood, then we can talk about it. I can say, please, what you're doing is interfering with my livelihood. Would you please not do that? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? See how easy that is? It's just that simple. So sometimes people create unnecessary trouble. It really is unnecessary. Just like last night when that young man's life was taken from him, I'm sure, up on 40th and uh, Market Street, I'm sure it probably was over, whatever it was, I'm sure it wasn't worth his life. You understand? But in certain instances, when you do things, it's too late. You can't undo. A lot of things you can't undo, and that's one of them. And the thing about it is, if people knew, they really knew about life, what they're capable of, and that life is not about what's on the outside of you. Life is about what's on the inside, and that purpose is to have more life, an everlasting life. Not just talking about it, but I mean working on it, developing, developing into that. You understand? People, for an example, let me tell you something. There was a time, excuse me, there was a time that um this person was taking pills. And they said they gave this person pills. So this pill you had liver problems or something, some problem. Anyway, regardless, but they said this pill would cure it. Says it's been cured thousands of people. You take this, take one a day for 30 days, and you'll be fine. The woman took this pill. She believed in that pill. She took that pill for 30 days. Went back to the doctor, and doc examined her and said, "You know what? Your problem is gone. You are cured." The woman said that pill did it, but it's an experiment. The pill was nothing but just a sugar pill. But see, this is the whole thing that people, it's your faith. She believed in that pill so strongly. Listen to what I'm saying. She believed in that pill so strongly that it cured her. That's why faith is so important. You must believe. Your body develops around your belief, your thoughts, your ideas. You see? And that's what makes things happen. And see, God is the supreme. Jesus talked about it. Jesus said, I'm the Son of God. He said, but what I do, you can do also and even do better. But you have to do as I do. People don't do that. They talk it. They don't even talk it right because they don't even understand it. But yet they wonder why things are not happening. You can be going to New York, but if you're not on the right road, the right expressway to New York, you're not going to get there. And it's just that simple. That's why we're not getting where we need to be. That's why all these things are happening in this planet, in America, to us, because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. You get up, you think, you have positive, you show love. I will greet this day with love in my heart. I will look on all things with love. That's what you have to do and believe it and do it. And you can feel the change within you. You have to start eating right. You eat right. A person can eat vegetables and a person can eat meat. A person can eat whatever they want to eat, and one can live just as long as the other. But the food is what creates the tempo of the body. You understand? A vegetarian is more passive than a meat eater. You understand? A meat eater is more like an animal. You get that, all that kind of stuff in. Passive person is a vegetarian. Spiritual person, you're trying to be spiritual. You want to eat. It's not about eating to live, because your body develops around everything that you put in it over time. That's how the body works. And we have to learn that. We have to learn to value life. And in valuing life, everything will change. Everything. Your whole life will change. You know? So I will greet this day with love in my heart. But first of all, among all things, I must love myself first. Because when I love myself first, I'm going to inspect all things that enter into my mind and my body. You hear what I said? Inspect everything that enter into your mind and your body. That's when you love yourself. You do that, you love yourself, guess what? You will not smoke. Love yourself, you will not have any bad thoughts in you. Love yourself, you're going to think about everything that you eat. Love yourself, you will not be having all this sex and stuff that's going on. You will not. And your environment will change. You got to stop with the BS if you want to live. And this is my purpose. This is how I've been living my life for the last 40 something years, 50 years. And I'm still trying to get there. You know why? Because there's so much around me. There's so much around me that I be fighting it every day. And it's not about fighting, it's about winning. That's why birds of a feather flock together. That's why people of the same mind and the same interests get together. We work together, we meditate together, we build together, we create things together, we create a world together. So this way we all feed amongst one another, and it makes it a lot easier. Instead of getting in the ring, throwing 100 punches a day trying to fight off everything, we don't have to fight off everything because we're in an environment of like beings, like-mindedness. Not the BS, man. And if we do, we get money. We build a civilization. We build an economy. We buy land. We build food. We build homes, modern homes, where people can live and have rent for $300 a month, just enough to whatever it is it takes to sustain it. Then that's what we pay. Nobody's trying to make money off one another. Our main goal is to develop that God consciousness within us. That's all it's about. Were you born just to buy cars, to party, to drink beer, get laid? Is that what you was born for? Everything. Every animal I've ever seen, all of them want to live. Except seem like humans, man. We just kill each other. We pollute the food that we eat. We pollute the water that we drink. We pollute the planet that we live. What the heck is wrong with us, man? Then we even support criminals. Put criminals in office to run our government for us. And then complain because they're not doing their job. So that's the reason I came on today, man. Just certain things I just had to talk about because it's got to a boiling point with me. The fact that I have to get this stuff out of my head because this stuff is occupying. It's negative, putting negative vibes into my brain where I can use that space for positive. thinking. You see, because I'm here for a reason. You know, I know we can live as long as we want to live and even go beyond. Because life is not about death. There is no death in life. Death is the results of doing bad things or doing abnormal things or not doing what you're supposed to do. You understand? Because just because this physical body doesn't exist doesn't mean you doesn't exist. This physical body is adaptation over time. That's what's needed for the life consciousness within us in order to survive so we can get the knowledge and learn how we can have eternal life. That's it. That's it. No. So and what we see is proving or has proven to us that the way we think and the things we be doing and the goals we're setting for ourselves, not the way. It's just open your eyes and see. I'm not sitting here telling you something that I don't know. I'm not sitting here telling you something that I haven't experienced. I'm telling you. And the people that own it's gonna own it anyway. Let them. That's fine. But people, I'm just telling you to straighten your life up and telling you how to live your life and telling you what life is all about. We need things, yes. That's okay. Don't live for them. Don't lose your life in the process of living. So, thank you so much for listening. I just had to get that off. You know, it's it's a shame. And people, you know what? People are so nice. The nice people are. I mean, it's so nice. Well, you know, excuse me, how are you? You know, yes, you can talk to them about that. And I mean, people, it's wonderful if you just jump out of it, get that mess out of your head, and just start loving people and talk. You even give off an aura about you when you change your mind. And things, people just connect, man. It's wonderful. It really is wonderful if you give yourself a chance to find it and enjoy it. But thank you all so much for listening. I feel good too. I really feel good about this. I got something off me, and the one thing too, people, please stay out of other people's business. You know, if you have an opinion, keep it to yourself and let somebody ask you. You understand? Okay. On that note, everybody, please have a wonderful, wonderful day.